Well, folks, Monday Night Raw came to us with a banger of an opener. We had Rollins, we had the wise man Paul Heyman, and we had Bron Breakker looking very dapper in a suit. He does seem to have gone the way of Paul Heyman, though, and looking a bit more orange than he normally is. But, you know, that's what they want to do, and that's how they want to go. Obviously, you did have Rollins say that he won the event at WrestleMania. He is now the future of the WWE and the industry, and if anything happens, it's going to go through him. Well, with this, I was actually quite surprised, as Rollins was patting himself on the back, giving him all the credit, that he deserves, or he thinks he deserves. Sammi Zayn interrupted him, and the pop was awesome. Zayn got in the ring, and he just looked at him, he was like, Rollins, what are you doing? Are you jealous of CM Punk? Are you jealous of Roman Reigns? Rollins tried interrupting him, obviously, and he was like, no, my vision for the WWE, it goes through me, I'm gonna run this industry how I see fit. And obviously, Sammy came back with, you're a hypocrite. You are exactly like Roman Reigns. And obviously, Rollins didn't like that, and he's like, well, no, my vision. And Sammy's like, no, you got the wise man over one shoulder. You got your little attack dog over your other. Exactly how Exactly how Roman Reigns was. And with that, I was like, you know what? That's actually really good. It's a really good thought. How he's like, you're trying to emulate him. Anyway, with this, Rollins then told Zayn, he was like, you're either with us or you're against us. I like you, Sammy. I love you, Sammy. You've always been good to me. We've always seen eye to eye. And Rollins basically gave him an ultimatum. If you're not with us, you are a target and you are against us. But then he turned to the wise man, Paul Heyman, and he was like, can we pull some strings? Can we get Sammy sent over to SmackDown where he'll be safe? And at the end of the little opener, Rollins just looked at Sammy and went, I want your answer by the end of the night. Great little opener, and obviously this is moving forward for the next. We'll probably see something happening at Backlash with this, but obviously for the rest of the night then, we had little clips of Heyman with Sammy. You had other people with Sammy, you had Jey Uso, and they were like, what are you going to do? But Paul Heyman was like, if you go to SmackDown, you will get the first championship shot against either Randy Orton or John Cena. You never know what's going to happen there. We then went straight into our first match, which was, as you can see, Mommy herself, Rhea Ripley, against Roxanne Perez. Now, with this match was just absolutely awesome. It really was. And these are two of the best in the world at this moment in time, and they were just going at it. We did start off with a bit of cat and mouse with Roxanne. Every single time Ripley was trying to grab her, she'd, roll down out the ring and just try and be like, you can't get me. Basically, Tom and Jerry. And every time Ripley tried grabbing her, Perez would just do something to get herself either broken up by the ref or get into the ropes and get out of the ring. But then we saw the turning of the tides. Ripley was on the outside and Perez thought, I can get her. So she tries a suicide dive, and what happens? Rhea bloody Ripley grabs her and chucks her into the barricade, which actually looked really pretty gnarly. But with this though, we then got back in the ring and Perez just went to work on Ripley's left leg. Again, when you look at the height difference, Perez is 5'1", while Rhea Ripley is 5'7", 5'8", around there. So you want to chop the tree down, that's how you attack. But obviously, Ripley got back, she grabbed Perez mid-air, slammed her. But sadly, this match was actually over quicker than anything, which is kind of sad, because I wanted this match to go on for another 10 minutes, it was that good. Obviously, we had Julia come on out, and Julia attacked Rhea Ripley, so obviously, Rhea Ripley won the match via DQ. But then you had Perez and you had Julia just attacking Rhea Ripley. We knew it was coming, but Io Sky, she came running out, she helped Ripley, and from there onwards, they just scared them back. Now with this, we got two options to go forward with. One, which is probably going to be the more likely outcome, is that at Backlash, we'll probably see Rhea Ripley, Io Sky against Julia and Roxanne Perez in a tag team match of some sort. But the one I want to see, I want to see a fatal four-way between these four women because that match would be absolutely incredible. And to be honest with you, it possibly will be a main event of a PPE because it's just going to be so great. Now, the next segment after the Rhea Ripley match, we actually had Logan Paul come out and challenge main event Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. More than likely, this will probably happen in 11 days at Backlash. And to be honest with you, for a very first opponent for Jey Uso to defend his belt against, I do think Logan Paul is probably the best option. And I really hope that Paul doesn't win, because if they let Paul win, Jey Uso was a heavyweight champion for what? Like 12 days, 13 days, something like that, and it's not even right. But Logan Paul came out and he was like, I want that belt. I'm going to make your heavyweight championship reign last less than your intercontinental reign. But the best thing about this was Jey Uso super kicked Paul into the stratosphere, and it was great to see. But going forward, having these two, for you got next week, and that's really it, because the following week is when the actual pay-per-view is. It'll be interesting to see how they build this up, because obviously with Backlash being, it's not even a month after WrestleMania, they've only got a very short amount of time to build these matches and to try and get people to be like, yeah, we're interested. It's almost like, right, we only got a week or two to do this, so let's get everyone ready. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Next up, we had a great tag team match between the Judgment Day and the War Raiders. Now, this was actually for a championship shot against Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, which those two boys, they came on down to the commentary desk and they gave a fantastic commentary round just for this match. And I want them always to be there because it's just so funny. I absolutely love Kofi. I absolutely love Xavier Woods. And when these guys get on the mic, I really do think they are some of the best because they just have fun. And that's exactly what this company needs certain times. We got the Logan Paul, Jey Uso thing going on. And obviously in a bit, we're going to be talking about Becky Lynch. Sometimes you just want to go out and just have fun on the mic. And that's exactly what these two did. But with this, as we always do, it was a great match. Whenever these guys are together, they always put on a good show. However, this match ended kind of prematurely because as Carlito was distracting the referee, Penta was able to get in, and we actually saw Donna, he was back from his injury, from his collapsed lung, which thank God he never got seriously injured, because he had a broken rib and everything else, and he could have punctured, he could have just died from that, But it was good to see him back. Penta appeared, pushed him off the ropes, the War Raiders got the win. So with this, though, it is now going towards Penta against the Judgment Day, and obviously it's been building up now for quite a while. Personally, the only thing I can see happening here is Penta getting Rey Fenix, and they're going to come back as the tag team. I can really see that happening. And a Backlash, having Donna, Finn against Penta and Phoenix, that match would be a show stealer, guarantee it, because those four would just gel instantly and it would be a phenomenal match. So I'm hoping that we actually see that at Backlash. Hopefully this Friday or next Monday we're like, right, we need you, you're going to be over here, we need help. Phoenix, Penta, you're together. Fingers crossed. After this, in my eyes, we had the best segment of the entire show. The man, Becky Lynch, she came on out and she explained why she did what she did last week. And she was also the one who took out Bayley at WrestleMania. And obviously she's like, there's no videotape, there's no cameras, there's nothing. I'm the one who took her out because I told Lyra she needs to drop Bayley. With that there, it was like, oh, that's an interesting dynamic. And we found out why. And Becky was, she was just like, it's because of something Bayley has just kept doing to me since 2019. For the last 6 years, she's been doing this to me. She's been attacking me. And I finally got my revenge. But then with this, because Lyra wouldn't accept and drop Bayley, the man Becky Lynch took it upon herself to take her out. And obviously she was like, yeah, we're going to win the tag titles. And obviously the after show of Mania, She was there at the press conference with Lyra and a little girl, and she's like, I'm glad I'm with this woman. This woman's spectacular. We won the belts, and I didn't want to win it with anyone else. But with this, though, we actually had Lyra come on out, and she refused to admire Lynch. And she went, everyone in the back warned me against you. You're only in it for yourself. You're only out for yourself. You don't care about any partners. You don't care about anyone else here apart from you. And she's like, yeah, that's right. I bet they told you that because that's how you need to be. But with this, though, Lyra straight up just went, me and you, Backlash with the belt. And Becky was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. And like I say, it was a great performance by Lyra as well, because Becky is such a phenomenal talent on the microphone. And seeing that Lyra was able to stand toe-to-toe with her and give her barb for barb, it was great. And it was actually very good exposure for Lyra to be on the mic. And like we said, the man, Becky Lynch, seasoned vet, pro on the mic. Their match at Backlash is going to be one of the highlights. I can really see it coming. Before our third match of the evening, we actually saw a video package of Rusev. And he was saying that he's back in WWE to fix the arrogant, like he went away and fixed on himself when he was exiled. Now, with Rusev, he does look great, and to be honest with you, I think he's just going to come back and just tear up Raw. I really do think so. And what I want to see is Rusev against Bron Breakker. That's the path I want to see these two going against. Basically, an immovable object against an immovable object. That would be great. But we went into our third match then, which was Stephanie Vaquer against Ivy Nile. And to see Vaquer back on Raw in the spotlight, I'm just so happy to see it. This woman deserves everything that's coming to her because she is just a phenomenal and incredible talent. The match was great as well, and Vaquer showed that she deserves a spot on the main roster, which we will more than likely see very sooner rather than later. And obviously, you had Nile. She put on a great performance, and she helped to get Vaquer over into the crowd, which, to be honest with you, Stephanie Vaquer doesn't need it. She just doesn't. She's there, everyone likes her, and everyone loves her, so she's going to be there. Obviously, the actual match was good. Chad Gable got involved, but Vaquer was able to take him out, and she was able to come both of these and get the win. Overall, a great, solid match for Stephanie Vaquer. Earlier in the show, we actually had Pat say that he was allowed to take a little bit of time during the show to explain and address what happened with Gunther last week. Now, if you can cast your minds back, Gunther tried attacking Michael Cole, but Pat McAfee got involved, and he was like, you go after him, you go after me, you do not touch my boy. Rightfully so, because that's how you treat your friends. And with this, he was like, right, this is it. Gunther's been suspended indefinitely and fined an undisclosed amount, but SmackDown's version of Adam Pearce come on out here. Nick Aldis came on out, and he was like, yeah, Adam Pearce lets everyone run wild, and then he decides what he's going to do, but I run things a little differently. Pat cut him off, and he was like, right, I want you to lift Gunther's suspension, because I want to fight him ASAP. And Aldis just looked at him and goes, right, okay, Pat McAfee against Gunther at Backlash. And with that there, it could be a good match, but I do hope they go the route of something like a street fight. So just to give Pat some kind of advantage, that he could use weapons, he could use anything he wants to get involved. Maybe some of his boys from the Pat McAfee show could jump in. And let's just face it, if it's a straight up wrestling match, Pat's not going to win against Gunther. So that's the kind of route I'm hoping they go down. But overall, though, Pat McAfee on the mic is always a genius. He, like with Michael Cole, he goes, I will be loyal to Michael Cole until I'm in the soil, which is a great line. But fingers crossed we do get some kind of stipulation, because let's face it, McAfee ain't going to beat Gunther. I mean, come on, it's Gunther. Before we got to the final segment, we had Jey Uso backstage with Sammy, and he was like, I know you're going to choose the right decision, and you need to go out there and tell Rollins what it is. But with this, though, Uso turned around, and he actually got sucker punched by Logan Paul, And Paul was just there like, ha, I got the upper hand. Anyway, going back to the main segment. We saw Sammy come on out, and we actually saw Rollins come out with the Wise Man and with Braun Breaker. And we all knew exactly how this was going to go. Sammy turned down Rollins' offer. Rightfully so. And with this, obviously, Sammy got a lot of heated in the moment. But then we just saw Rollins turn to Braun Breaker, and he's like, right, okay then. You got a match with Breaker right now. And again, it turned out exactly how we saw it coming. Sammy was just annihilated by Braun Breaker. He just speared him so many times, and Rollins finished it with a stomp. And he just left Sammy lying in the middle of the ring, just a crumpled heap on the mat. Now, with this, it's going to be interesting to say because we've got 11 days until Backlash, and we've only got one more Raw until that PLE or pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it this day and age. Overall, great show, and seeing that we only got 11 days, some interesting choices have been made for these matches, and are they going to go further beyond Backlash? Like we were saying when we had Rhea Ripley, Io Sky against Julia and Roxanne Perez. Are we going to see a tag match? Then something happened there, which means it's going to go into a fatal four-way for the women's match? Who knows? But overall, though, like I said, it was a very solid show. I really enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed this week more than last week, the Raw after Mania, which is quite surprising. But overall, show rating was 8.5 out of 10 for myself. And I am sad to see that at the end, we just saw Braun absolutely destroying Sammi Zayn. But seeing how Rollins just literally at the end, he was like, right, that's it, stomp. And it just sucks because it seems to be like how exactly like the bloodline went, where you're going to have Paul Heyman just giving his wiseness, going to Rollins. Maybe you should do this. I advise you to go this way. I advise you to go for this person. And Breaker's the muscle. I really do hope we see Sammy get a win over all of this because, well, in the last couple of months, well, last year, all we've seen is Sammy just get beaten, and Sammy deserves way more than all of that. His match with Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber was absolutely superb, and I just want more from Sammi Zayn. I just want him to have more. I really do. But guys, like and subscribe. We will be back here on Saturday for SmackDown. See you soon.